beautiful friends, and welcome back to my little cozy corner of the internet. I hope the sound is okay. I am filming outside obviously, and the birds are very loud. I really wanted to film in this beautiful spot next to the bushes by our deck, but my neighbor's outside doing lawn work and I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. But today I am sharing with you guys 11 books which are my hopefuls for the rest of the year. I cannot believe we're already halfway through July. Now, I have 11 books, like I said. Am I setting myself up for failure? Yes. Am I going to change my mind on a couple of these because I'm a mood reader? Also yes. So these are simply, as I said, hopefuls. I would like to read these ones this year. If I don't get to it, I'm not going to beat myself up because my mood changes very quickly when it comes to reading. So I don't want to blab too much. I'm just going to hop right into the first book, and I am going to go seasonally. So the first three that I'm going to... It's a tree. The first three that I'm going to talk about are more summery books, and then I'm going to get into the more fall books, and then I have like one wintry book, but I kind of read fall books all throughout winter anyway because it's just cozy. So hopefully, as I said, you guys can hear me okay, and we're just gonna jump right in. The first book that I hope to read before summer is over is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walter? That name. This just sounded super cute and fun. I randomly picked this up because I saw it on Amazon, so I picked it up at the store. I think I picked it up at Walmart for like $8. But this is about a girl named Meredith who recently lost her sister very tragically, and she'll be headed to a wedding this summer. So to honor her sister's memory, she's going to participate in the family games and try to have a good time. And while she's doing that, she ends up being allies with a very handsome man who is one of the groomsmen, and they hit it off pretty well, and now she's in danger of not only losing the game but also losing her heart. But this just sounded really sweet and cozy, and just like, not cozy, well I guess kind of cozy, just like a fun little romance with cutie summer vibes. And I do follow somebody on Instagram who recently read this and they said it was a really fun time, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Of course, I sit out here to film and somebody starts using power tools. The next book that I'm going to read was a gift from my friend Monica, and it is The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. And I did show this one in a book haul from a couple months ago, I believe. So I will just quickly say the synopsis without getting too much into it. But basically, there's Olive and there's Ethan. And I think Olive is one of the bridesmaids, and then Ethan is one of the groomsmen in a wedding, and they absolutely loathe each other. And then the wedding party ends up all getting super sick. They all got food poisoning except for Olive and Ethan. So there is a honeymoon in the balance, so they're not gonna let it go to waste, so they go together. So it's kind of an enemies to lovers situation. Last part of the synopsis says Olive doesn't mind playing pretend. In fact, the more she pretends to be the luckiest woman alive, the more she feels like she might be. It just sounds really cute. My neighbor just started his motorcycle. You know, our neighborhood is usually really quiet because we're like kind of in the middle of nowhere and on a lake, so it's usually very calm and peaceful, but today is just the day that everybody is just doing things. The next book is one that I actually picked up last year and I read for a little while and then I put it down because I got kind of bored. I made it to page 70, and that was it. And that is Well Met by Jen DeLuca. I want to try it again because I think this was going to be like my first romance book, so I wasn't really like feeling it as a genre, but now that I've read a few romance books since then, I feel like I'm a little more open to some of the things that happen in them. The main character's name is Emily, and I believe Emily's sister was in like a really serious car accident, so she moves in with her sister to take care of her and her daughter, and so she ends up volunteering with her niece for this Renaissance festival, and one of the teachers that's helping put it together is kind of cute. So they end up connecting a little bit while putting on this event, and it's kind of interesting, but at the same time, the main reason why I put it down was because the main character, Emily, really annoyed me because she was so like snarky and rude, and I just don't like characters like that unless they're also funny, but she's not funny. But like I said, I do want to give it another try because it has Renfest vibes, which I'm all about. I'm hoping that I'll get into it this time. So those were the three with summer vibes. Now I'm going to get into more of the fall cozy vibes. And this first one was definitely a cover buy, for sure. It also sounds really good. And that is A Dream of Stars and Darkness. Isn't that the most stunning book cover you have ever seen? Oh, this is so beautiful, and it's by Madeline Elliott. But it's kind of hard to explain. It is a fantasy book. I believe the main character, Ember, is like a spy, and so she's navigating the Sealy court. But then I believe it's also like a enemies to lovers story, because it says, now forced to play the part of a willing bride in front of an enemy court, Ember discovers that her deal with the prince may be more than she bargained for. So enemies to lovers, romantic-y. So it sounds like it's going to be both action-packed and romance-packed. So this just looks really, really good. I just love the cover so much, and I haven't heard anybody really talk about this. I think there was one person I followed on Instagram who said they loved it, because this is the first in a series. So there is a second book that I haven't gotten yet, but I'm sure I will if I end up really liking this, which I'm assuming I will, just because the cover. The next book is the epitome of dark academia from what I've been told, and that is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. Now this one I have seen quite the debate about, because it seems that you either absolutely love this book or you absolutely hate it. I have not seen any in between. I'm not going to go over the synopsis in depth because I did talk about this in a book haul video, but I believe it's about college students after they've graduated a few years later. Stuff comes up and now they'll have to convince themselves and each other that they are innocent of, I think, a murder that happened. As I said, this is very, very dark academia. Everything that I've seen about it has been like, this is like the mystery dark academia book. So I'm hoping that I enjoy it. The next book I also mentioned in a recent video, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but that is The Poison Thread by Laura Purcell. And I did get this from the dollar store actually, but this is another dark academia, spooky, gothic kind of vibes. I believe it's a murder mystery. When Dorothea's charitable work brings her to Oakgate Prison, she is delighted by the chance to explore her fascination with phrenology and test her hypothesis that the shape of a person's skull can cast a light on their darkest crimes. And she meets somebody that she kind of has to decide, like, is this person crazy, or are they a murderer, or like, what is the deal? And the whole concept of the book is it possible to kill with just a needle and thread? So this sounds definitely spooky. So I thought somebody just walked up to my house. It's giving very strong, like, Victorian Gothic vibes, and I don't even know if that's like the time that it's set in. It's probably not, but that's just what it feels like. The next book I think is probably the one that I'm most excited about, and I talked about this one on Instagram, and it's called The Girl Who Once Thrived by Lacey Marie. This is a Christian fantasy series, and I am so excited to read it. Somebody in this group that I'm a part of on Facebook asked for recommendations by Christian authors to make sure that they're appropriate, and the author actually commented on it. She was like, hey, I've written a few books if you want to check them out, so of course I immediately purchased them. I got them on Amazon, so if you want to check out more Christian fantasy books, I will link these ones down below. But like I said, it is a series. There are 2 books right now, and this one is In the Depths of Hassad, I think is what the series is called. I'm sorry, my neighbor's dog is barking. Maybe filming out here was a bad idea. The synopsis is really short, so I will read this really quick. So it says, tell your dog to be quiet. An October tragedy after a high school dance, a devastated teenage girl chosen by the Spheric Valley, the ever-changing fantasy land and its mimicking world inhabited by dark creatures, broken mirror portals, immobilizing watchmen who happens to be much more than just a guardian. Will the girl who once thrived survive what she must face? So I'm not totally positive on what it's about, but it sounds really fun and just really interesting. So I'm very excited that I have found Christian fantasy, because I do want to move away from things that aren't very wholesome. It's something that I've been convicted about recently, and especially like as a Christian, like I don't want to be reading a book where it's like I feel guilty about it because the content isn't appropriate, because I definitely felt like that when reading the ACOTAR series, like especially A Court of Silver Flames. I was reading it and I was like, I feel like I need to pray so hard right now because that was just like not okay. So it's not that I'm not going to read any books that don't have anything, you know, bad in them, because that's also just part of life. But if there are books that I'm reading that happen to have like really heavy smut, I'm just gonna like skim past it because I want to read good stories, but I feel like it's so hard to find good stories that don't have that kind of stuff in it. Anyway, if you have any clean recommendations, whether it's romance or fantasy or what have you, please let me know, because this is just something that I felt more convicted about recently. The next book is another one that I'm very excited about. This is one of my friend's very favorite books, and that is Megan over at the Ginger Hobbit. I feel like I talk about her in every single video. If you don't follow her on Instagram, please do. She's so sweet and I love her feed so much. But this is one of her favorite books, and it is called Far Wilder Magic by Allison Saft. And again, I did cover the synopsis in one of my book haul videos, so I'm not going to go too far into it, but I was told that this is a really great fall read, so I'm very excited to cozy up and read this one. It is a romance, and I think it has a little bit of fantasy. I'm honestly not quite sure. Okay, yeah, I think it does. The last part of the synopsis says, in a far wilder magic, Allison Saft has written an achingly tender love story set against a deadly hunt in an atmospheric, rich fantasy world that will sweep you away. So I'm really excited to read this. It just sounds so lovely and I just can't wait. The next book is so incredibly popular and I cannot wait to read it because I have heard nothing but good things about it. And that is The Foxglove King by Hannah Whitten. This cover, you guys, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, just look at it. I love the serrated edges. I think I got this one at Target, but you can find this pretty much anywhere because it's so popular. And again, I think I covered this one in a book haul, so I'm not going to get too much into it. But this is definitely a combination of politics, religion, romance, fantasy, mystery, all the things in a cartel. So it's like, I think this is going to be very adventurous, very fun, magical, whimsical, and it just sounds like it has a little bit of everything in it. But I just can't get over the cover. It's so stinking pretty. I think I'm going to try to read this one. I don't know if I'm going to read it in fall or like on the cusp between summer and fall. I'm not quite sure. That's kind of why I put it in more of the fallish books, because it has flowers, but then I was told that this is kind of like a spookier kind of a read, so I don't know. Let me know what you think, but regardless, I'm really excited to get into this one. I don't know, I think that one also has smut, but like I said, if there's anything in it that I just feel uncomfy about, I'm just gonna be skipping those parts. The next book, this is the epitome of cozy fall from what I have been told, and that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. Our main character Viv, and she has been involved in a lot of like wars and just fantasy battles and the fantasy life, and then she just decides to settle down and open up a cafe, and so she sells lattes and pastries, and it just sounds really cute and cozy, so I'm really excited to just feel the cozy vibes of this one. I think most people that I know gave this one a 4 out of 5. And the last book that I'm really excited about is also another one of Megan's favorite books of all time, so I'm really excited to read it, and that is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. And I think this one just looks so incredibly cozy. I believe this one is based in Russia, and there's a lot of talk about folklore and just whimsical forests and that kind of a vibe. I'll just read the very last sentence of the synopsis, and it says, as the village's defenses weaken and evil from the forest creeps nearer, Vasilissa must call upon dangerous gifts she has concealed to protect her family from a threat sprung to life from her nurse's most frightening tales. So this definitely sounds very whimsical and cozy and fun, actually. It sounds like there's quite a little bit of action in it from what I understand, but either way, this is definitely one I'm going to be cuddling on the couch with my pups and drinking hot chocolate and watching the snow fall, and it's just going to be really cozy and I'm excited. So as I said, I am definitely setting myself up for failure because there are probably a few of those that I might swap out depending on my mood. I know that this year I was really determined to read The Cruel Prince, which I know I still have not read, but I don't know why I'm delaying so hard. I feel like it's because I know I'm gonna love it so much and that makes me nervous. So I don't know if I should save that one for spring or if I should add it to my list for this year. Let me know if you've read it, what do you think? And then the other one that I really want to read this year, but it totally depends on my husband, and that is Six of Crows. I promised my husband I wouldn't read it until he did because we both loved the show Shadow and Bone, and he loves Kaz. Like, he and Kaz are like, yeah. So I think he's about halfway done with it. My husband doesn't read unless he's in the reading mood. So he started it at the beginning. Whoa. He started it at the beginning of the year and he's about halfway done. So I'm hoping that he gets it done by the end of the year and then I can read it. Otherwise that will be one for next year, but we'll see. So yeah, those are my hopefuls for the rest of the year. If you've read any of them, let me know what you think and let me know if there are any you think that I should add to this list or replace, because like I said, that's probably gonna happen. If you've watched this far in the video, please leave a little sunshine emoji in the comments. Again, this is something I love to do, to see who watches my videos all the way through. And yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so incredibly grateful that you choose to spend your time with me, and I can't wait to be coming out with more content, hopefully cozy stuff for this fall. And yes, so thank you so much. I love you with my whole entire heart, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!